I'm currently on a cruise ship that I booked through an airline for 50% off. I booked this last minute 4-day cruise deal just 15 days before the sailing for $3.99, which even included the round trip airfare. I went to investigate what the catch was, if any, and how much it'll really cost me. I'll share with you the food, the facilities, and what works and doesn't work well on the ship, while showing you all the good, bad, and interesting experiences I had on this last-minute cruise deal. Trying to cruise as cheap as possible, I decided to make a bold move to spend the night at the airport for a 6 a.m. flight. Even the flight was at over 30% discount, and what seemed too good to be true was actually happening. Let's just hope the cruise deal is real too. Without any issue, I was on my way over the water to the Sunshine State. Welcome to Miami, where I'm about to embark on my first cruise with the Carnival Cruise Line. I chose Carnival because that was the cheapest option, but there are other lines to choose from on JetBlue Vacations website. Honestly though, with 2/3 being taxes and fees and the cruise costing less than $230 for over 50% discount, I still wasn't sure if this deal was real, if they'll come after me or slap me with some extra fees. Well, there's only one way to find out. After dropping off my luggage, I was ready to head inside. The terminal was quite empty, which was worrying, but after they scanned my documents, I was allowed to proceed into the terminal without any issue, where today's ship awaited. Carnival Conquest. Built in 2002, it is Carnival's rather older mid to large size ship with 3,000 passenger capacity at 953 feet. Let's get on board, shall we? Making my grand entrance at the foyer, I was quite pleasantly surprised with its looks. This is where various small entertainment is held throughout the cruise, right by the bar and an endless guest service line, but more on that later. First thing on any cruise ship, of course, is the safety drill at the muster station. With that taken care of, I made my way up the ship for some embarkation day brunch. I got myself some tacos and a bit of everything I could before a huge line formed. Whew. Embarkation brunch is usually a first indicator of what's to come, and my biggest compliment as well as complaint would both come from their food. Afterwards, I looked around the ship while they prepared my room. During this hour, I was able to get a sense of what awaits in the days ahead. Yes, this really was within an hour of boarding the ship. We'll keep an eye out. And finally, an all-clear announcement was made and I made my way to check out my room. Looking to cruise on a budget, I chose an inside room. Let's unpack and choose fun, shall we? Though this terribly angled footage of my first look at the room might not seem that significant, things change. First, right off the bat, I am greeted with some dirty, sticky stains. Yuck. I wonder if this is a footstep or if a car drove over it. Anyhow, on this cruise, I'm really going to keep my onboard spending to a relative minimum. For example, instead of dining at the specialty restaurant, which I think was like $55, I'm going to order a specialty entree at the free main dining hall for a nominal add-on. My first add-on was this huge bottle of water. I couldn't do a room tour while thirsty, so I had no choice there. Alright, let me mention a few interesting things I found. Here in the room is a huge king bed composed of 2 double beds. To one side is a small table and a fridge, which was empty. Guess they're not cashing on mini bars. Below the fridge, I discovered I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is. Nothing was really out of the ordinary, but then I found this. Have you ever heard sparkling lights before? Also, I don't know if you also noticed this sort of engine-like noise. It definitely was better than my last cruise, but being in room 1321, and no, not deck 13, but the first lowest passenger deck right there, definitely came with some slight audible noise. The unlucky part was that just few days before I booked mine, decks 2, 6, 7, and even 8 were available at the same price. There's one US outlet for now. I find more later. And the bathroom definitely had the early 2000s vibe, which felt quite outdated. But everything was in working order. Nothing to complain about here. One thing I must complain about was the bed. Things were looking much worse than just signs of age. Ugh. Yeah, I put away everything to a side that I deemed unfit. If that wasn't enough, this is what I come to when I grab the beach towel a few hours later. Yuck. My room attendant let me know that the European outlet also doubles as the US outlet. Isn't that cool? But what wasn't cool was that when I plugged in my charger all the way, it would not charge. It would only charge when I have the charger loose as a fire hazard. At this time, as a matter of coincidence, came an announcement.
Stefan, welcoming you aboard. Here at Carnival Cruise Line, the most fun cruise line in the world, we are dedicated to the safety of our guests and crew. Your attention is drawn to the safety information.
Well, let's at least find out if it is indeed the most fun cruise line in the world. I see that some seagulls decided to join us here. This was definitely the most lively and crowded sail-away party I've seen so far. We waved our goodbye to our sister ship, Carnival Sunshine, then we slowly got on the road. I mean, water. Yeah. While we blasted the usual cruise music. The very first embarkation sail-away is usually something you don't want to miss, as it has the most charms with the biggest crowd, most of them expressing joy and excitement. Goodbye, Miami. I'll see you in 4 nights. We set out to the sun-setting ocean, and it was now time for dinner. This is Renault Restaurant, the ship's one of 2 beautiful complimentary main dining rooms set over 2 floors. Unfortunately, many passengers and I were being turned away as they required in-advance check-in on the app. I chose this Your Time dining schedule where I thought I could join at my leisure, but that still required a reservation. So don't make this mistake. Jeez. After waiting about 8 minutes, I got to sit down and admire the beautiful space I was in. Except for a little too long. Yeah, I sat for over 10 minutes watching crew members taking the stage to entertain us and make our day, but I wasn't too thrilled. Hello. Good, how are you? Hello? Yeah, just one. 17 minutes inside, a staff member finally acknowledged me and gave me a cup of water. A round of warm breads followed shortly after. Then...
Hello, sir. My name is Drink Master.
Okay.
What you looking for?
Just Coke. Do you have Coke Zero?
We have strawberry, mango, pina colada, Miami Vice, Kiss and Olives.
Just Coke Zero soda.
Raspberry, banana, and peach. No alcohol. It's a smoothies. It's a daiquiri. No alcohol.
No, Coke Zero, please. Coke Zero, yeah, soda.
We don't have Coke Zero, Pepsi.
Pepsi Zero is fine too. Thank you.
They don't sell minibars for a reason, I see. At least the bread was amazing. Like, really. My first appetizer was pappardelle pasta. And unfortunately, they were not cooked thoroughly. It wasn't crispy, but it was quite hard. I'm sorry, guys. Next up, roasted duck roll. This one, on the other hand, was chewy, juicy, and yummy. And finally came the broiled filet mignon for $23 upcharge from the steakhouse. Visually, it was very pleasing and it indeed looked to be medium rare. And as I took a bite and savored the taste, I was speechless. Not in a great or terrible way, but just not sure what to say, like literal speechless. Well, it was okay. I just wouldn't pay for it again. As usual, I finished off the course with a good-looking, delicious cheesecake. Yeah! Then after the cheesecake, I sat there. 15 minutes after finishing my cheesecake, I'm left wondering again. After a long enough of a wait, I had to change my camera's battery, and in that 30 seconds, my drink master came by with the bill. The interaction was not at all pleasant. They carry these tablets for settling bills, and there was this tip prompt displaying 18, 20, 22% tips. I asked if tips were automatically included, and he points at the prompt and said, quote, "That is if you enjoyed your meal." Well, since I clearly didn't, I didn't do any extra besides the automatic 18%. He gave me a look, but what? That was by far the worst ever. Wow. Wow. As I made my way out of the restaurant, I came to this site. I was so intrigued by such a long guest services line that I came back every hour just to see how long the line was. Isn't this something? The longest record, of course, was the last day of the cruise. Let's brighten the mood with some entertainment, shall we? Here I found a very interesting chair, as if this was designed for a solo traveler like myself. I took the throne, but this rail was in the way of the stage, so I quickly stepped down. As the show was underway, I came to realize how empty the theater was. What's going on? The first half of the show was guest participation. Yes, they are fellow passengers mimicking move of a tiger and a squirrel. The second half was comprised of talented singers and dancers, but it was a small team of 8 entirely revolving around music. We'll look out for the production show. Afterwards, laughing at my custom-sized double bed, I said my goodnight and called it a night. Good morning. In the inside room, it's quite hard to track the day's weather and time, but I'm happy to report it's looking like a bright, sunny day. I overslept and the buffet was my only breakfast option. Here I found out that the sushi venue serves omelets during breakfast hours, which didn't have any lines. The ham and cheese omelet had the basics done right and was very delicious. Now, words quickly got out and lines started to form even here. Then I discovered the pizza parlor opens even for breakfast as well, my favorite dish for any occasion. Afterwards, I did manage to look around the buffet, and what caught my eye was the fact that eggs and bacon are not served yourself. Oh hey, Duggo. Now, for today's after meal deck tour, I'll point out a few things on the ship that I thought were well done and not so well done. Here I am at the top deck, the 14th, where thrilling water slide was supposed to be. Maybe not so thrilling, but it's still a water slide. And looking across, wait, he's still working his way down? We can cross that off of our list. Walking around the balcony style deck, you can spot some balconies, literally. You might have some awkward encounters with guests above or below, so keep that in mind. In addition, there is some wear and tear coming from its age, but nothing crazily out of line. Depending on your preference, this huge smoke area that spans all the way down to the staircase at the end might be a good or a bad thing. But this huge space will fill up. There's another smoke area on deck 3, and the coolest part about this place was that it was right next to the crew smoking area. Deck 3 also has this kiosk where you can check your account balance. No surprise fees yet. Another thing up for preference would be Deck 9, the main pool deck. Here, the burrito cantina, the swirls with frozen yogurt and soft serve, the guy's burger joint, the pirate pizza parlor, take a deep breath, the deli serving hot dogs and subs, the main buffet, the seafood shack, and the sushi express are all located on deck 9, inevitably attracting a huge crowd. Not to mention the bars and the main pool, of course. Now, although most tables around the dining area do feature ocean views, there wasn't a dedicated sightseeing lounge per se. The closest thing you get is this cove-looking thingy, which would be weather dependent. Well, all the adventure has gotten me hungry. The time was now 2:20 and this was a low-key time for some burger. My. Let's try the ringer with bourbon and barbecue sauce on a juicy-looking cheeseburger with some Cajun fries. Up goes a rojo ring and here it is. Toppings were served yourself style, which was a pleasure, and this is what I came up with. Abundant sauce, chili, crisps, and lettuce to top it off. With one final smash, my burger was ready to be devoured. Now, eating at 2:20 meant the burger was kept warm, but not freshly off the grill hot. But regardless, this was certainly the best food so far. Like, so good I went back and back to try different combos throughout the cruise. Going for round 2 here at the barbecue, I first tried the pork among beef and chicken. And with just a single bite, it was a delighting, proper, old-fashioned barbecue experience. The barbecue venue was also so good that I went back another time to try the chicken, beef, and pork all together. Now, this such amazing experience unfortunately leads me to try the worst food on the cruise, so keep an eye out on what not to eat. With my tummy full, I went to the ship's gym. Not to exercise over the ocean views, no, but to be lazy and relax in a free complimentary sauna. Now I played another waiting game here, messing with the button, turning on water, and trying everything, but the steam sauna was just clear as my future. But worry not, because they also have a dry sauna, which can run as hot as 80 degrees Celsius or 176 in Fahrenheit. Phew. As I was leaving, I noticed technicians working on the steam sauna, and when I got back another day, it was well in working order. Nice. So I was sitting here just looking through the daily program. You know what I just discovered? This is... The bottle I've been drinking is on the left side. In other words... Wow. The previous passenger must have drunk this, then filled it up with tap water. Wow. What a... Remember I said earlier this terribly angled first look of the room will play a role? So I went back to review my footage and there we go. They couldn't even get them leveled. Whoever did this. I let my room attendant know and he took care of it. After a bit of sunset watching, I thought to myself, all the small food menus were incredibly good, so let's skip the long line and try some seafood and sushi for an extra fee. Here I have salmon, tuna, and shrimp, each costing $2.50. The color seemed fine, but there was no wasabi inside the sushi. Now that is more of a preference thing here in America. What would really matter is how good this big chunky sushi is, right? And they really put a lot of rice in here. The salmon was okay. I mean, salmon is one of few fish that's really hard to get it wrong. Up next was the tuna, and instead of me telling you how it was, I think you can just watch my face expression to get the message here. I'm looking left and right because I want to spit this out, but there were other guests sitting pretty close and I just had to endure it. Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing a chef can do if he is supplied with the junk. Like, it was so bad I said, okay, I'm moving on to fish and chips, which were freshly fried and burning hot. And what looked to be a generously filled and fried fish and chips quickly turned out to be just debris and chips that were very bland with no taste. Yes, they don't cost a fortune, but even if it only costs a little, why would I want to pay for a negative experience when there is abundant complimentary food available, right? Like, I'll take 4 of these dinner rolls over what I just had. Well, let's once again brighten my experience with some entertainment. Today's production playlist included a bit more special effects, but it was once again entirely music and dance with a team of 8 talented entertainers. Per the daily program, we just saw Carnival's favorite highlight entertainment for day 1 and 2. There weren't any acrobats defying gravity or showing off a hamster-like move that I saw on Margaritaville Cruise. Not to mention any live band or guitar solo. Day 3 and Day 4 get even better, with Dr. Seuss Parade being the only highlight where they read a book and had some adults wear a mask. On Day 4, they even have debarkation talk as the day's highlight show.
Thank you. Thank you.
I think recruiting a few acrobats to go along with dancers and singers and maybe a cute shark may greatly benefit Carnival Cruise Line. And before calling off the night, I stopped by the pizza parlor. Everyone had a similar idea, but no one wanted the mushroom pizza, so I only had to wait a minute or so. Once again, this small, free food venue was exceptional and had me coming back and back throughout the cruise. So today is what Carnival calls Fun Day at Sea. They have, I guess, sort of special breakfast, sea day brunch at Monette Restaurant. First things first, checking in on the app so that you're not stuck at the door. Yeah, this time I breezed through the waiting line and got seated on the 2nd floor. I'm happy to report I was given a cup of water within seconds of sitting down. They had a steak on the menu, so I said, alright, I'll try a complimentary breakfast steak. And my oh my, a wow just naturally escaped out of my mouth. Looking around the ship afterwards, all the shops that normally open at night are already open for business, attracting passengers who have nowhere to go.
In fact,
they even hold a sales pitch and what's on sale guide at the theater while we circle around on the water. Like, literally, we circle around. And during this time, they were hosting a hula hoop competition among different age groups here on the pool deck. It was pretty clear early on who our champion was going to be. And once we moved up to 40s, 50s and up, it was more of let's see if anyone can even hula hoop for a few seconds. Our champion even volunteered to show off her great skills for the audience. Maybe Carnival should hire her, right? Afterwards, I turned my fun day at sea into a relaxing and strolling at sea day. I made some new friends who decided to star in the video. Yes, this is a staged walk. And a peaceful fun day at sea went on. As the sun set, I tried the very last food menu I have not yet tried, the deli. After this one, it was pretty clear all the free, smaller food menus were simply exceptional, with the buffet serving as your backup plan should you prefer some variety. To give my verdict, there was absolutely no need to spend any extra on any food on this cruise. And as mentioned earlier, there was no production show, but many smaller shows and events were held throughout the night.
You should be a YouTuber.
Thank you for coming out, man. Appreciate you. Is that mom and dad with you? Okay, you sure? You look a little unsure.
Let's start my last day on the ship with a fulfilling, delicious breakfast from the buffet. We were in Nassau, Bahamas, personally one of the most anticipated moments on this cruise. Not necessarily because of the destination itself, but because being on the ground offers a great opportunity to really see the ship up close with great photo opportunities. Unfortunately, the weather, for once, was very unlike the Caribbean. With no sign of any sun combined with the wind and the rain, I kept my adventure to just sightseeing around the port. As minions wreaked havoc on the ship, local authorities were boarding to catch them. No, just kidding. But we were getting ready to go and we were still waiting on a few passengers. Pier watching is perhaps the most exciting moment of the cruise, provided you are watching from the ship and not from the pier. Now, once the horn went off, and the staff on the phone turned around and came an announcement.
Good afternoon. This announcement is for Thomas and Esmeralda.
Everyone was like, uh-oh, this can't be good. Are we really about to witness something only seen on the videos? And just as the crew passed over their phone, there, in the distance... Is that you, Thomas? Run! The crew was waving them to stop, like, are they not going to allow them on board, or was this just a caution? The crowd erupted into cheers and chants, and they were documenting this extraordinary, possibly heart-sinking moment. Now, as they approached the crew members, they were allowed to pass, and they were quick to put away the gangway as soon as they were on board. I'm sure that was a very thrilling 14 minutes of their lives. Goodbye now, so I'll definitely see you again on another ship. Hopefully on a bright, sunny day next time. Now, this is when most passengers returned inside, but this was my most anticipated moment. The water today, though, seemed a bit rougher than usual.
Thank you, sir.
Phew, that was thrilling. Now, as I returned inside, I came to an odd sight. I mean, yes, leaving out your room service out the door is pretty normal, except this was my room. Come on. The return to Miami was quite windy and cold, so I kept mostly indoors.
Hi.
I learned a new trick setting for my camera here.
Hi. I have here Watson, right?
Yeah. That's Watson, Asia's best content creator in the house. Yay!
That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Now, what wasn't pretty cool was the guest services line that was now so long that we were moving into the theater, providing a view into the show.
Audience, you gotta open it up.
I performed my ritual not to win money but to take home a souvenir, the cash out voucher. But then Carnival had other thoughts. Come on. And when I checked my account statement for one final time, I was relieved and happy to see that there were no surprise fees. And my grand total for the trip came out to $553. My cruise itself had some ups and downs, and I'm not sure if I'll return to Carnival anytime soon, but it certainly was an unbeatable bargain thanks to the JetBlue Vacations package. I'll definitely try again with another line when I spot another deal.